Okay. So, we're in my car. I'm going for a little drive today. We just had a shitload of snow here. And the temperature was minus 10 yesterday, and right now it's 0. We had like 4 or 5 inches of snow overnight and today. Now the temperature's 0, and it's raining. And it's going back to whatever, minus whatever tomorrow. So it's going to be a mess. I am going over to do one of my more important activities. It's very important. Requires a great amount of responsibility, know-how, and patience. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to babysit my grandchildren, a few of them today, just the boys, because the little one's going to gymnastics and the weather is too crappy for my daughter to put all the kids in the car. So, while I go over to her house, it's going to take me probably half an hour to get there. I thought I would make a video. And I wanted to say about that last video that I made, I apologize for the quality. I didn't realize it was that windy out that day. I hope I gave a proper explanation of how supply and demand works in the market, because that's super important to understand. And if you don't understand that, then you really can't grasp what you're doing, why you're out there. So if there are two people who are in a marketplace, one person has a product and the other person has $1, then the person selling the product doesn't have much room to maneuver if he wants to make more money off his product, right? If he wants to make more money, he can if the other person only has $1. But if a third person comes along and has $1, then he has options. However, he still doesn't have sufficient demand to raise the price in an organic way. By that I mean, they both have $1. They could both give their $1 to him and share the product. They could do that, but that doesn't exactly make much sense. What they need to do is have someone come along with more money who is going to bid up the price. That demand is the most effective way to watch the price rise in a supply and demand situation. That's really, that's really the only way. You have to have a market, right? You have to have a demand. If there's not buyers and sellers, then there's no market. So, I just wanted to clarify by saying that. Also, I ended that last video with saying that one of the ways that you can take control of your finances is online investing for Canadians. And then I said for dummies. Really, what that wasn't a reference to my audience, absolutely. That was a reference to the first book I ever read on the stock market and, capital markets. The first book I ever read was Online Investing for Canadians, for Dummies. And the book now is probably about 20 years old. And I found out recently that it is still hasn't been updated to today's standards. So even if you were to read that, that taught me everything I needed to get started in online investing. Everything I needed. What a stock exchange was, what a stock symbol was. Why do some symbols have 4 characters and why do some symbols only have 3? The differences between, exchanges and simple indexes, just mutual funds, types of accounts. It's just the simple stuff that everybody should know. And And so that book, Online Investing for Canadians for Dummies, is a real good place to start if you want to get information about, investing, how to open a brokerage account, where to go to find a brokerage account. You can always, there are lots of books out there now, but that one is really good for beginners. So, one thing that you can do, and one thing, so I'm thinking, it could be possible that there is opportunity here somewhere. I'm thinking this: if a person is to be a good stock picker, and they were to give ideas to other investors, it could be possible for free. Give ideas to other investors for free. It could be possible that news might get around and that I would gather subscribers. It would be an alternative to the same old thing, selling stocks through a newsletter and have subscribers that pay you $50 a month. You can do that, and I could do that, but I think it would be way too much work. I don't want to have a second job. I like trading stocks, and I like helping people, and if I can help people make money for free, I think that's really cool. And if I honestly don't know if it's, only time will tell if it's a viable idea. But if I was to be able to attract advertisers because of the amount of subscribers I had, that would be great. Just doing what I'm doing now. I don't want to be a publisher. I don't want to be, I don't want to be working with software, and I don't want any employees, and I don't want any of that bullshit. So I don't want a second job. I don't want to start that type of business. This business here is very simple for me. I can do it with my own hands, and excuse me. I'm going back to the place right now where I caught the flu a week ago. I haven't been out of the house to do much of anything in about 10 days. Today happens to be January 10th, and I caught it on New Year's night from one of my grandchildren. I think was barfing, and I went home the next day. I was barfing for 2 days, and so I'm going back there now. I'm not sure why. It's to help my daughter, but I hope I don't get sick again. Anyway, there is something about being a grandfather that's really awesome. It's it gives you it puts you in a position of importance in the family. I feel honored. I feel the kids listen to me the majority of the time, and I think I've got influence with them, and that's an honorable situation to be in. Kind of like being a dad, only better because you get to go home. And so I'm heading over there now, and hopefully I don't catch the flu again. Something about these small companies that I like to look at, I can't help it. I see no value in buying a company like Rogers Communications or Bell Canada or TD Bank or TransCanada Pipelines. It's just a dividend. A 4% dividend means fuck all to me. That's nothing. Like, oh, come on, 4%? dividend. And if the stock goes up 10% in a year, oh, okay, that's great. I don't like that. I like something that has potential. I like something that's got excitement. I like to have some fun while I'm doing this. I don't just want to just allay my risk. I don't just want to, diversify myself to the point where I don't even fucking know what I own anymore. I don't want that. So, every once in a while, I like to buy a small company and buy a pile of it as much as I can and start low. So, you always have to say to yourself when getting involved in these small companies, you have to say, okay, this is the riskiest sector that there is. Small caps, micro caps, they're called. Capitalized companies, they're small. Anything can happen, change of regulations can fucking ruin a whole marketplace, can ruin a whole business. So these companies are risky. They are. And if you bet your shirt, you can lose your shirt. You can lose your shirt. But you can make a pile of money off it too if it's done right. If you choose wisely, if you choose the right way. When I first started, I used to look at a company. I wouldn't do any fucking homework at all. I just look at them. I buy it because I like the name. Actually, the first stock I ever bought was called CRS Robotics. It was in 2001. It was on the Toronto Stock Exchange. They had this process that had, rearranged the assembly line for some laboratory process, finding proteins in some cells. The thing that got me excited was that this new process that they had established was going to lower this very important procedure, lower the costs by 40%. Okay? And so that was significant. Even I knew at that time that was significant. And so it wasn't long later until that company was purchased by another company called Textron, and the stock doubled. And that was the first stock I ever owned, CRS Robotics. It doubled. It got purchased.